All right, welcome to another Ask Scanner School over here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and now over on this camera over here, we are on TikTok. So if anybody is on TikTok and wants to check that out, you can go ahead and leave me a question over on the TikTok channel, and we will see if we can get that answered. It's a little small screen in the corner, but we're trying something different tonight. So my name is Phil Lichtenberger, and this is our monthly Q&A session that we hold on social media to answer your questions. And this is a follow-up to our normal podcast session that happens on the first Tuesday of every month. So what we're going to ask you to do is, if you're watching us over on the social media channels on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, leave me a comment down below in the video, and we will be sure to answer them live on the air. If you're on TikTok, I'm going to try to keep watching over there. I don't know if I will be able to see or answer any questions up there, but to everybody who is joining, I want to say welcome to our very first TikTok session over there. So excellent. All right. We lost video, it looks like, on the YouTube channel already. So let me go ahead and bring this up over here. So that's what I forgot to do. we're batting 1,000 over here today, guys. The video is up, but the Safari session isn't. So let's go ahead and get that going. Where's my Safari session? I do these things, like I was saying before to the guys on Zoom. I do this all the time, and it's one of these deals that I do it so often now that I forgot to use my cheat sheet, and that has now messed me up because I am not using my cheat sheet. So here we go. Here's my dashboard. Just bring up a website here. Let's minimize this, and we will now bring this over. Transition. Here we go. Perfect, guys. So we got this over here, and you should see the chat bar coming up over on top of me over here now as well for those watching on the social media channels. So let me see if I can get over here on TikTok. We have no questions coming in here, but if you do have a question, just type it in. And let's go over to our first questions over here. So we have Wayne is saying, at the end of March, he rode the Amtrak Estella from Philadelphia to New York. He had his portable scanner with him, and it was an interesting train ride. On the trade, he put the scanner on scan and railroad service search mode. He got interference from other channels and could only listen to the road channels. So what are the stuff were you able to listen to, Wayne? Were you able to listen to anything going as far as the conductor or the end of line messages that come in from the last car usually broadcasts that anything's going on the rails? Interested to hear what you would have heard. It's been a very, very long time since I've actually rode the rails, and Amtrak does not run across Long Island. They run out through the city and then up through the 95 corridor, I think. So I'm just trying over here to change my Zoom preferences because I'm getting feedback through my audio devices. So I'm going to just change this to there. All right, so that should mute that feedback. Very good. Like I said, I only do these things every month, so it's interesting. And I got somebody who's coming in as well. Give me a call for edit. Not sure what that really means, but like I said, we are trying TikTok for the first time, so we'll keep bringing that in as well. I'm hoping that eventually I'll have the access to bring everything into one platform, but we don't seem to have that access yet. All right, let's go through some more questions that we got in already. John saying, good evening, all. Looking for information show from John for New Jersey. John, good to see you again. Another regular over on the chat. Wayne, again, you're in from Pennsylvania. Arthur is in California tonight. Good to have you on there as always, Art. Don't forget, too, you are a Patreon member, so you can join us over on our Zoom session, catch everybody live over there in real time with no delay. And also, you can also join us afterwards for our, I don't know if it's after the show, but it's the extra credit roundtable discussion that we do every month as well. Also, we've got, this is now that romper room. I see Chris, I see Greg, I see Kenneth over on Zoom as well. How you guys doing? And I'm watching the chat on there for more questions. We also got Virginia in. Looking at TikTok here, we've got a question, and it says, what is the best antenna for a BC-125 AT? So that's, no pun intended, a loaded question. It all depends what you are going to be using the 125 AT for. Now, my box of radios and antennas are over in the corner over there because I am just underprepared tonight. But there's a couple of antennas that I would definitely recommend. One of them being is the Diamond RC77. Was it the RH77CA? It's what I call an armpit poker, and the antenna is about yay big. I mean, it's a decent size, and what I mean by armpit poker is if you have your radio on your belt, the antenna is long enough to hit you underneath the armpit. That antenna works really well when it comes to. I'm trying to look at two cameras here, guys. So if I look like I'm in space or looking out in another direction, that's what I'm doing. So that antenna works really well in VHF and UHF. It has a little bit of gain to it, so it will definitely suck in some RF from those areas. Let me come over here too and just what do I have you guys on? I got you on the Safari side. So if I got you guys over here on Safari side, let me see if I can actually show you guys this. And double click, transition. When I say Safari side, I mean over on the other website, on the other social medias. So it's a Diamond RC77CA. So I'm just going to bring up that webpage over on the other social video channels here. And HT antennas, RC77CA. Man, it's not really a great picture, but it is a basically 2 meters, 70 centimeter, receives with 900 megahertz. It's plus 6 dB of gain relative to a discone antenna. If you transmit through it, which you're not going to be doing through a scanner, it will handle 10 watts. It's 15 inches long, and it does have a BNC connector on it. So let me just transition over here for everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook. So that's what the antenna is. Now, if that's not your speed, you want something smaller, I like using the antenna that I have over here on this radio here. Let me transition back over here. This is a Diamond SRH519. Now, again, this is an SMA adapter antenna on here, but you can get these with a BNC. I like them because they are extremely flexible, and even though they have a little length on them, they're really not going to interfere with you. Now, again, these do 2 meters, 440, again, which is 144 and 430, as well as wideband receiving coverage. So, again, I really like these antennas. I'm a fan of the Diamond antennas, but again, it's all going to be a matter of what it is you're using the radio for. And again, it would being a 125AT, I assume it could be VHF, UHF, even though that radio does 800. Most of the trunking is over on there. So can I show you so I can screenshot it? I just don't have it, the ability to do it on TikTok. I'm sorry. But what we can do is if you're watching it over on YouTube, the playback will be there. I actually had it on screen for you for a couple of seconds over there. Again, it's an RH77CA by Diamond Antenna. That's the antenna that I would recommend. And the second one is the Diamond Antenna SRH519. Again, the SRH is the SMA, so I believe you would just need the RH519. And again, I throw Diamond antennas pretty much on all of my radios. Here's another Diamond antenna that I have on my VX3. Again, love this one because it's only a couple inches big. Doesn't really get in the way. I have another one on a link over there, and I got some more float around. But yeah, again, my box of tricks is over in the other corner. Again, a little underprepared this evening for some reason. All right, let's see if we got any more questions coming in over on TikTok. Let's see. Best antenna that, let's see. For police, car antenna. Car antenna. So that is a little bit different. So Whistler makes some really good antennas. I haven't played around with them yet, but Whistler does have a couple of mobile antennas that you can do. The Spectrum Force is a really good one too, and that one is over on Scanner Master. If you want to look at the Spectrum Force and you want to help out Scanner School, what you can do is go to scannerschool.com/ScannerMaster. That is our affiliate link. And what that will do is give us credit for the sale. It will redirect you over to Scanner Master, but keep our referral in tow so that we get credit for the sale. But the Spectrum Force, it's like the base on it's like that big. It's a really small magnetic base. It's probably about 2 foot long antenna, but it brings in signals like gangbusters. So I like that one a lot. All right, coming back over here to our social media feeds. Let's see what we got over here on this client here. We've got Wayne's following up. He says, conductor signals and go to and switching tracks due to CNS work. Very cool. I mean, that's got to be a good, behind the scenes thing when you're taking a train to be able to hear what is going on in there. 294 TN is Tennessee, new to scanning radio hobby. Good to have you on. If you have any questions, let me know. I would be more than happy to answer them for you. And guys, by the way, I am holding back a cough. So if I accidentally let it go, I do apologize. Let's see. Is there any way to display radio IDs on P25 systems on the SDS200? Yes, you can. So what you want to do on the SDS200, and where is my SDS100? We're going to get rid of that cough right now. Apologize, guys. My SDS200 is missing from action. Where did it go? This is the problem when you've got too many radios and you rush through stuff for the day. But okay, so here's the trick for the SDS100 and the SDS200. I was going to kind of go through it live on the air, but again, I don't even have my overhead camera set up today. You want to go into the custom display, right? You want to go into the expert display or the full display. And what that's going to do is it's really going to give you a lot more information on the display. So instead of just getting the system, the department, and then the group, you will get your RSSI, your battery level, you'll get the WAC and the NAC. You'll also get the radio ID. And what I have set up on my display is instead of looking at, I believe it was the trunk system ID or something like that, I actually put the radio ID and then the radio name, the alias that I gave that radio. So I can actually see the talk group and the radio that is transmitting at that time. So that is how I've set up all those. And that's the best way really to do it on the SDS100 and the SDS200. You can see unit IDs on most of the P25 scanners that are out there. You can see them on, I know the 436, the 536. You can get them on, I think the 996 allows you to bring those on as well. And even the Whistler products allow you to give an alias to the radio ID. Let's see, we got Jerk Jerry is saying, what is an antenna good for 400 and 700, 800? Again, the diamond antennas I was talking about before are really good antennas for 700, 800, and also UHF. Something specific to those bands would definitely help. And again, my SDS200, it grew legs and walked away on me for some reason. But on that radio there, I do have the Remtronics 700, 800 antenna. I think that antenna works really well for 700, 800. I also have, which I probably bought last year and never took out of the bag, the Remtronics 842. It's over here. This is, again, the antenna for the SDS 100. It allows you to get in behind the sleeve, I guess you'd call it, that goes around the antenna jack, the SMA jack. This is for VHF, UHF. So you would want to use this antenna for VHF, UHF, and then the 700, 800 for that one. The other option is with the SDS 100 is to get a connector, a barrel connector to extend out the top of the antenna, then use an aftermarket. So my biggest gripe with the SDS 100 is the fact that it's not easy to put aftermarket antennas on there, and that really annoys me to no end. See, Trafton is saying, I heard you talk about the diamond antenna. Any thoughts on Remtronics, specifically the 800? Newly hobby and appreciate any input. Yes, so again, going back to that one, I use on my SDS 100, that's what I keep parked on there. I keep on the Remtronics 700, 800, because on that radio, I am mostly listening to 700, 800 systems. I think it works really well, and that's my weapon of choice basically on that scanner. I tried using this antenna here, but it wouldn't sit on there. So again, I went out and bought adapters, and I just ended up just going with the Remtronics because I like things to look nice when on top of the radios and not look like it's a hodgepodge. So I also didn't have any barrel connectors on there because I was afraid of putting any stress on the SMA connector. So that Remtronics antenna that you can buy over at ScannerMaster. I think Zip Scanners also sells it, but if you go to scannerschool.com/ScannerMaster, all one word, that's also what will help us out as well. Let's see. Derek is in as well. Thank you. WV8DL, good call sign, like that. All right, we have run out of questions over here, so let's see if we got anything coming up over here on TikTok as well. So again, excuse my arm on the live feed here because I have a camera up and a camera down, so it's a little impossible to do here. And over PD is saying, what's the best digital radio for Massachusetts, Lawrence, Massachusetts, and how do you get digital frequencies? Also, how do you program the BC355N? And you can't find any frequencies. Okay, so I will not be able to show this on TikTok because I don't have the ability to share my computer with TikTok right now. Hopefully in the future I will. But what you want to do, again, I'm going to show this over on YouTube right now. So if you want to catch a replay on YouTube or if you want to just follow along and switch over platforms, what you're going to want to do is you want to go over a radio reference. So let's go ahead and roll through that right now live on the YouTube session. So I'm going to go to radio reference, and let me just load up the page here, and then we will do a swap Baroni. Transition over. All right. And you are up in Massachusetts. So that's Connecticut. I don't know my geography all that well, apparently, for New England. There we go, Massachusetts. And then I need to know what county you're in as well, because that's the big kicker right there. But you said it was Lawrence, Massachusetts. So let me know if you got the county. If not, I will just do a quick Google on that one. Maybe somebody can fill in the blanks there. Let's see, go back to the chat box while I do this. LAWRENCEMA, and that is in Essex. Swap this, do this, transition that, Essex County. All right, so over here on YouTube, I have the webpage up for Essex County, Massachusetts. And if we look through here, we have basically county sheriffs are on UHF. We've got Mutual Aid Districts 515 is on VHF and UHF. Some of the Andover is on Law Dispatch and Fire Dispatch. You guys are on UHF over there as well. So you do have you've got quite a bit of VHF, UHF up on there. So a BC355N would actually work really well for you in that area. As far as trunking goes, it looks like you have Essex County Communications, which is an LTR system. And then you got Massachusetts State Police, which is a Type 2 smart zone. So you would need a different scanner to look at those systems or to monitor those systems. Over on the LTR system for Essex County, you really only have Teamwork Inc. Daycare buses, Trinity Ambulance, and Northeast Regional Ambulance. And then as far as State PD, yeah, you got a full-on system here. So if you want to listen to the State PD, you would have to upgrade your scanner into something that does at least do rebanding in a Type 3 system, which means it does Motorola Type 2, EDAX, and LTR. It would be better, though, if you got something that does do digital. There's not any digital. There's a couple of digital talk groups on here. Franklin County's got some digital, it looks like. But I think you lucked out. That 355N will actually do you quite well up in your county, Massachusetts. Very rare to see that, so congratulations on living in an area where you can get away with an analog scanner. I'm a little bit jealous of you. So very cool. All right, let's go back over to some questions over here on YouTube. We've got, is the SDS100 more sensitive than the TRX1? So, you know, I haven't given it a test side to side to see which one's more sensitive. What I have done with those two radios is I've gone through and I did a kind of informal test to see which one works better when it comes to close call or signal stalkers, what they call it, right? The ability to find frequencies that are closer to you. I think that the TRX1, hands down, works much better than a Uniden product when it comes to finding close frequencies. And my weapon of choice for finding close frequencies is the TRX1. Only because it does things a little bit differently. It actually scans through or searches through the frequencies as opposed to just finding out something that is going to be a rise above the noise floor. Now, it also works better because it pulls out different digital signals, whereas the SDS 100 doesn't do a good enough job with that, in my opinion, on close call. Now, when it comes to sensitivity as far as trunk systems goes, we're going to blur the line here and say, how well does a TRX-1 receive a P25 simulcast system versus an SDS 100? Now, the SDS 100, SDS 200, hands down, blows the TRX-1 out of the water. The TRX-1 is just about deaf when it comes to simulcast areas. So if you've got a P25 system on 700, 800, don't even bother the TRX-1 unless you can isolate to just one trunk radio site or tower, rather, and you'll eliminate the simulcast, and then maybe the TRX-1 will work well for you. The SDS 100 was made for simulcast, and that's really where that radio shines, and it really works well in that environment. So that will be with that one. And again, SDS 100, SDS 200, pretty much identical when it comes to the answer on that one. And let's see, we got Heidi's coming in with Essex. Thank you for the information. Brian, good to see you on. Hope all is well with you, Brian, and good to see you on there as well. Let's see. How do you listen to them? I can't. Lawrence, again, we just talked about. So yeah, you would just have to program them in as conventional, and then they should come right in as far as anything up in Lawrence, Massachusetts. 294 is saying, what are your thoughts on the 996 versus the SDS 200? So, fill in the blanks here. Lawrence went encrypt. How do you listen? You can't. Plain and simple. If it's encrypted, hands down, you're SOL. That's what it comes down to. My local PD here did the same thing many years ago, and we haven't been able to listen to PD at all since then. So yeah, encryption is just end of story, end of the road for listening to them. 996 versus the SDS 200. So if you don't need simulcast and you don't want to have the ability to bring in through Sentinel or bring in from radio reference, the 996P2 is a great radio. I have a couple of them. I've got one over here. I've got a couple over my shoulder. They're really good radios. And they're affordable really now too when it comes to digital, because they are the 996T is phase 1, 996P2 is phase 2, but they're not the top of line radios anymore. So you can grab them for a fair value. You can also find them on the used market for a fair value, as well as people either get into or out of the hobby. Because now the pandemic's over, I think people are starting to sell some equipment they bought 2 years ago that they realized that they're never going to use. Or they have used that equipment, realized now that they love the hobby and want to upgrade their equipment and are selling some of these other pieces of gear. 996P2 is a good radio. If you're looking for something that's a little bit cheaper and you don't have any phase 2 in the area and you don't have any simulcast, the Whistler 1095, I think, it's a phase 1 only radio. I hate recommending phase 1 only radios, but that's also a really good affordable radio. The speaker on that is awesome. Love the speaker and the output on that radio. It's a really good radio. And let's see, we got here. Bob is in. Good to see you, Bob, again. And let's see. What did you get from Massachusetts State Police? So any radio that works well on a Motorola Type 2 system would work well. So you're looking at basically an SDS 100, SDS 200, top of line, TRX1, TRX2, 996P2, 325P2, even the BCT 15X. On the Whistler side, you would go with the 1040, 1095, I think 1098, if that one is the new one. I forget now the Whistler numbers. But if you're going for the used market, you can even drop down to a Radio Shack Pro 106, 197, a Pro 164, a Pro 163. If you really want to save some money, spend about $100. That'll get you into Massachusetts State Police for a good value. And then what's the handheld version of the 996P2? That would be the 325P2. Same radio, just in a handheld format. And again, my 325P2 is in a box over there. But if you can imagine this being a digital scanner, This is the 125. It's pretty much exactly the same casing and layout. I really do like the way that this radio looks here, and goes through everything. All right, let's go on to some more questions as we start winding down the half hour here. This was a great session, guys. Thank you so much for all your questions. And if you're finding value in this, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, like the video. Also on TikTok, make sure you follow us over there as well. And if you're catching us on a replay, again, thank you so much for catching the replay. We do this every month, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, whatever it is, a platform you're on, so you know when we're live again next month. And again, if you're a Patreon $5 a month member, you can join us after this is over, and we go for about another hour, just shooting the breeze, so to say, on that platform as well. So I am trying to bring up my Restream client. Here we go. And here we go. So 294 is saying, thanks for the info. My surrounding counties are full digital. The county I'm in is still analog, so use an old BCT8 for now. Love it. Yeah, it's a great radio. In fact, I bought one new. For some reason, I wasn't through with it. When I had it, sold it, immediately had seller's remorse, and then found another one on the used market and replaced it. And yeah, it's a nice radio. I mean, it definitely does serve a purpose, especially if you've got a lot of just analog trunking, right? EDAX, again, Motorola Type 2, or the LTR. Bear Bull is saying, is Remtronic 700-800 antennas? Yeah, the Remtronic 700-800 antenna, again, great antenna to use over on the SDS 100. That's what I'm using on it. Again, my SDS 100 grew legs. I probably put it in a bag and took it somewhere for some reason. But yeah, that is a great antenna. And if I wish I had that radio in front of me, I'd show it to you. But again, if you go to Scanner School, in fact, I'll put that in the chat. You go to scannerschool.com/scannermaster. That is our affiliate link over to ScannerMaster. We can go ahead and make the purchase for that. And again, while I have the floor here too, if you guys are interested in any courses on how to do software-defined radios, because again, that might fit the bill with you guys too, right? If you're looking at 996 P2s or 325s, or even something to monitor, Heidi, you're looking at something to monitor the Massachusetts system. Really affordable, easy way to get started with that is to get into software-defined radio, and we have some software-defined radio courses over at HBS. It's courses.scannerschool.com. And I'll put that in the chat over there. So let me go back over here at TikTok and see what else we got in here. My thoughts on not using location-based programming on an SDS scanners and just programming favorites. List tied to quick keys. Yeah. So that's my favorite way. Again, I'm looking now to TikTok because I'm answering a TikTok question. That is the way I program up my SDS, my Home Patrol scanners, is I prefer to use my own favorites list because I want to be in control of what the scanner is doing, right? Using location control is great if you're traveling into an area that you don't know what's going on. If you want the scanner to have the ability to turn things off and on as you're going through things. But if I want to be in control, I am strictly only using my own favorites list, and I am tailoring them to only have on there what I want to have on. Now, the thing you need to remember is when you're using your own favorites list, is now they are disconnected from the database. So if you do a Master Home Patrol database update on the SDS radios, your favorites list will not be updated. You're going to have to drag in the new information from the database and write them over to your favorites list as well. Fuzz, good to have you on here. And I was actually going to reach out to you. My schedule is looking good for the next couple of weeks and was wondering if you were still interested. So I was going to hit you up this week to try and sync something up with you. So stand by for that one in a bit. Let's see what we got over here also. I am the fireman. Thank you so much for the looks like a rose you sent. So we'll take what we can get. All right. Thank you so much for that. And then let's see, still using the Radio Shack Pro 164 scanner for your local airport. Yeah, really, really a great scanner for that. And I don't have the 164, but I do have the 163, which is the desktop version of that one. Looks like we're going to run late here, guys. What is your thoughts on the BCD 996P2? And the 96P2, again, I think I answered this one question before. I don't know if you just asked this or not, but I will run through it real quick again. The 996P2, great radio. Like I said before, it's not the top of line P25 scanner anymore, but it does do P25 Phase 2. It will do Motorola Type 2. It'll do EDAX, LTR, analog. It'll do P25 conventional with a paid upgrade. You can get DMR on it as well. As long as you don't have simulcast, great radio, affordable way to get into digital. And, like I said, I've got a couple of them, so I really do like those. And again, if anybody needs any extra help here, I am available for tutoring sessions. It's a one-on-one session. Again, it's just like this where I am sitting in front of the camera. We do it over Zoom. And I'm able to help you out, do a screen share, and help you program a radio, help you find frequencies, or just answer any questions you might happen to have about Scanner Radio Hobby. You can find those or book me for a session by going to scannerschool.com/tutoring. And that's where you can book me. And again, if you haven't checked out the podcast, I really do recommend checking out the podcast. This week, we answered your questions. Last week, we talked about Bill Cheek. Next week, we have a really good podcast episode coming out. I was really excited to actually record that one. And believe it or not, it's actually already back from my editor. So Patreon may get that one very early. You may not have to wait the full week to get this one. But you guys already know what it's about because you guys already got a sneak peek of the outline about 2 weeks ago. So you know what that podcast episode is all about. And I do appreciate feedback on that episode. So let's see where we're sitting right now. It looks like we are caught up on our messages over here. We're caught up over here. Heidi, how do I charge for that? So that's all handled through the website. What you do is, you know what? You're on YouTube. I will show you over here on YouTube how you get there and how you can book me. So what you do is transition over here. You're over on the website. And if you go to scannerschool.com/tutoring, or you can come over here to tutoring on the top menu. And, of course, an ad pops up because, I need my 5 cents. And this kind of gives you a rundown of what the tutoring is and what you can expect. It's $47 right now for a full hour session. And if you get a replay of the session, I will record the replay and email you a private link so you can go back and watch the tutoring session and, kind of replay things if you need to go through the steps one more time. And then what you do is basically you pick a day on the calendar. You can see Saturdays and Sundays are the most available. And you pick a day, you pick a time, and then you just fill in the form. Your name, your email address, a contact number, so just in case I've got to reach you with text, right? A description of what you need help with, and then a cell number. And we ask for a cell number because I will send you reminders a day before, 30 minutes before, and I think 10 minutes before that we are about to meet. And then you basically click on Book Me. It takes you to PayPal, collects the money. You then get an automated email with a Zoom link. And then when I accept the booking, you'll get a confirmation that I've accepted the booking. So it's very easy and very straightforward to book me for a tutoring session. And I have a couple of these in the works. And also, while we're here as well, if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, it's kind of the same form. A guest on a podcast, if you have something you want to talk about, something that you do with the Scanner Radio Hobby that you think that somebody would love to learn about. Again, we had Chris on, who's over in Zoom. We've also had Greg and Kenneth, who are all on the Zoom session. They were all guests on the podcast at one point. And again, it's nice to have other people on the podcast. And we also have somebody coming on from TikTok who's big into scanner radios. Will be recording a session with me tomorrow night as well. All right. So with that, we are going to say thank you so much, everybody, for watching us. Again, our very first TikTok session. Glad we could be able to do that one, and you guys can join us over there, and we'll do this again next month. For everybody else, thank you for watching us live over on our social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you're catching a replay, again, just leave me a question down below, and we will make sure that we come back during the week to answer your questions. For everybody who's over on Patreon right now, we will catch you in a couple minutes. So again, I want to say 73, thank you so much for your support. and for watching the live Q&A. We'll see you all again right here next month.